Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a script you can use for expressing the fear of abandonment in a relationship. So this can be something obviously that anxious, preoccupied individuals go through, but also fearful avoidant attachment style individuals. And we have an entire course inside of the school called Expressing Your Needs Scripts for Effective Communication. And I think we have about 60 different scenarios in there. So, anxious, preoccupied, feeling afraid of abandonment, anxious, preoccupied, setting a boundary when they feel hurt or afraid, dismissive avoidance when they feel misunderstood or unseen or unheard, DAs when they need to eloquently express space, that they need space from somebody and hope that it won't be taken personally, fearful avoidance needing more transparency, fearful avoidance feeling disconnected, the need for reassurance, validation, like all these different things. And we have a whole course that is me basically modeling out how to communicate these things. But then we also have the actual written form of the scripts that you can kind of pick the sentences from that you want to use and then do a deep dive into communication. And the whole reason we put together this course is literally because there's such a profound lack of resources, I think, in our world for communicating vulnerably, effectively, directly, assertively, and learning what our own needs are so we can share them with others. And those are all extremely important ingredients for a healthy relationship. Without those ingredients, our relationship is going to be lacking fulfillment, closeness, understanding. And more often than not, when we're not communicating directly and clearly and honestly and vulnerably, instead, we're always making assumptions about what other people are feeling in the relationship dynamic, which sometimes leads down sort of a toxic path. So I'm going to share one of the scripts. Keep in mind, as I wrote this whole course, my intention was to over explain a little bit so that as you go through these different things, you can sort of pick and choose the sentences that work for you that are a little bit more significantly fitting for the context of the situation you're experiencing. But I can't say this often enough. It is really important for the anxious, preoccupied individuals you're healing to be able to be doing the work and then also communicating to a loved one. Hey, I'm working on this, and this is what I need when I'm afraid of abandonment, and breaking it down into something that's tangible and easy for the other person to meet, and then to be able to positively reinforce this after. And in the course I talk about all this stuff, like what to do with it and how to do it and why it's important and how you can use some of this. But a sort of space that you can use. So let's say, for example, you're dating somebody, there's been a shift in the pattern of the relationship, and maybe they didn't call you back, maybe they kind of went missing, maybe they haven't been texting as much this week, and you're a few months into the relationship and you're like, what's going on? The pattern shifted. Instead of personalizing it and then clinging, or instead of having protest behaviors, as you're working on your own internal patterns that are creating some of this dynamic, learning to meet your own needs so you're not too reliant on the people meeting your needs outside of you, learning to question your stories so you're not making, sort of attaching the assumption that because they're not texting back often enough that they're about to abandon you and they're losing interest. Because remember, there could be so many other things that it is instead. It could be that they're exhausted or they're stressed and that they withdraw when they're stressed, or there could be so many reasons for all of this stuff. And so it's about like being able to do the inner work, but then also vulnerably communicate so that you can get your needs met in the relationship dynamic as well. It's both, right? It's not one or the other. And so you may say something according to this analogy that goes along the lines of, hey, I can be sensitive at times to pattern shifting in our relationship. And I have a bit of a fear of abandonment that I'm working on. And I want to let you know it comes up for me at times so that I can communicate this and share this with you. And just talking about it is something that already makes me feel better. And if I'm ever feeling afraid of disconnecting, all I need from you is just a little bit of reassurance. And that could look like you letting me know, hey, I'm under a little bit of stress, but everything's okay. I appreciate you. We're in a good place in the relationship, or everything's cool between us. And of course, I want you to be truthful if it's not. But if I'm in my own head a little bit and I just need a little bit of reassurance, that reassurance will go such a long way and will further help me to be able to keep on my journey of working on that wounded individually. And even if you just say something like, hey, I care about you a lot, or I enjoy spending time together, that will be something I appreciate so much. Okay. So that could be a way of sort of phrasing it. Again, I am over explaining so that you can pluck out of there the types of sentences and framings that work for you. But that's a really powerful way to start. And the earlier you can communicate about that in a relationship, obviously not necessarily like on the first date or just a few dates in, but as you're like really, once you've like made an exclusive commitment to be together, things like that, the more you can do that, the more you can put yourself in a position where you're dealing with things proactively instead of reactively. And you've got systems in place and strategies in place to support you in the relationship, which then also makes it, you start the relationship off on a healthy foundation where somebody can understand you and be mindful, and you give things to another person to be able to take you into consideration with. Part of trust is about knowing that we take each other into consideration. And if we're never showing our cards, then there's not a lot for somebody to even have the opportunity to really consider. So that vulnerability, that clarity in terms of painting exactly what it is that you need from another person, all of those things are super important. And as you go through the course here, if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description box below. But we have for the anxious preoccupied, how to set a boundary when they feel that the boundary is disrespected, how to communicate when you're feeling excluded, which is a big core wound for anxious preoccupied, how to communicate your needs in general, how to ask for clarity, transparency, what to do if you're feeling unwanted, if you're needing validation in a relationship, and how to communicate around different dynamics if you want more time together and the other person wants space. We have literally 3 different types of scripts for that one because it's such a powerful one. So let me know in the comments below if you want to see anything else like this. I will do a couple other scripts, one for a fearful, one for a dismissive, as this week goes on. So you can check those out as well. But let me know any questions you have. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.